I am running the meeting, and I also will have a council vote. So I would like to call the meeting to order, and if you would all rise, Councilman Stauffer will lead us in prayer, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Lord, you thank you for many blessings. We thank you, Lord, for a city, Lord, that is the greatest city to live in, a great county, great state. And Lord, we pray right now that those that will come before the council will do so respectfully, Lord, understanding that we are here to serve them, and we want to hear from them. Help them to, Lord, just to always respect those that, as we would respect them. And Lord, we pray right now for the two council members. We thank them for their long years of service, Sal Najimian and Mr. Donahue getting off the council, two new council members coming in, getting sworn in today. And we just pray that those two new council members will always look to serve the constituents of Niceville in a way that is always pleasing to thee. We pray all this in Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, Councilman Stauffer, for leading us in prayer and also the pledge. I'm going to take a roll call. I'll start with Councilman Najimian.
Here.
Councilwoman Alley.
Here.
Councilman Schatzel is here. Councilman Donahue.
Here.
And Councilman Stauffer.
Here.
And let the record show that Mayor Hinkle is not here. Okay, moving on with the agenda. Mr. Deitz.
Sir, we do not have any additions or deletions for recommendation to the council.
Okay. Thank you. And the next item, please.
That's the consent agenda, sir. I just need the council to vote on the consent agenda, sir.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion here within the council? Hearing or seeing none? Then I'll take a council vote. Councilman Stauffer.
Yes.
Councilman Donahue.
Yes.
Councilman Schatzel saying yes. Councilwoman Alley.
Yes.
Councilman Najimian.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Deitz, coming to you.
It's the next is the Youth Council Advisory Update, or Youth Advisory Council Update.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and handle that. We don't have our youth representative here because we had their meeting at 4 o'clock, and then we had a CRA between their meeting and our meeting, and I wasn't going to keep the kids for the hour. So they've continued their activities. They submitted for a Florida League of Cities Award, which we'll hear about in April, and they wrote about some of the things they've done to give back to their community this year, and then specifically they focused on a great project that they had over the holidays, where they went over to the Hawthorne's house over at the Air Force Enlisted Village, and they helped decorate doors for the folks that live over there and bring some holiday spirit, as well as at our own Twin Cities Pavilion. So they do their part to make our community better. Really proud of them. They're going to Tallahassee for legislative days later this month, along with Wendy, who'll be their chaperone. And they'll all be involved at the Emerald Coast Autism event on April 12th. April 12th. So if you happen to be free that Saturday morning, that's a great event, helping our great autism center here raise money during their 5K and other events that they have. So they remain very, very active, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
And as you said it, I missed it, but who's replacing you?
Soon to be Councilman Tolbert will be taking over as the mentor for the Youth Advisory Council for the next meeting.
Thank you. Okay, I've come down here because the next item on the agenda is a reading of two proclamations. And the first proclamation is declaring March 2025 as the Procurement Month and March 12th, which is Wednesday, as the Procurement Professional Day. And we have a Mr. James Walters from our city staff, the procurement officer. I'd like him to come forward as I read this proclamation. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to proclaim March 25th as Procurement Month and March 12th, 2025 as the Procurement Professional Day. And it reads as, whereas the efficiency and integrity of our city's operations depend upon a robust and innovative procurement process that secures quality goods and services at the best value for the citizens of Niceville. And whereas our procurement professionals are the unsung heroes who champion transparency, fairness, and strategic innovation every day, ensuring that the public funds are spent wisely and responsibly. And whereas Procurement Month is nationally recognized by the National Institute of Governmental Procurement Incorporated as a time to celebrate the critical role of public procurement and to honor those whose expertise fuels the engine of municipal success. And whereas the city of Niceville proudly embraces the tradition by designating March 2025 as Procurement Month and specifically recognizing March 12, 2025 as Procurement Professionals Day, a day dedicated to applauding the dedication, creativity, and unwavering commitment of our procurement team. And now, therefore, I, on behalf of Mayor Dan Hinkle, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim March 2025 as Procurement Month and designate March 12, 2025 as Procurement Professional Day. And be it further resolved that we call upon all citizens, business leaders, and community professionals in celebrating the outstanding contributions of our procurement professionals, who not only secure the best contracts and supplies, but also play an indispensable role in fostering economic growth and community well-being. Let this proclamation serve as an enduring reminder of the power of excellence in procurement and our commitment to innovation, transparency, and responsible public service. James, thank you. Let's come around. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you, council, and thank you, manager, for the opportunity.
Okay, the next proclamation is to American Red Cross and recognizing the month of March as the American Red Cross Month. And there are three individuals that I would like to ask them to come forward. The first is Mike Moran, George Legge, and Mike Lake. Will you all please come forward? The American Red Cross, this is not in the write-up, but American Red Cross, as most of us know, do a tremendous service to us in a time of disaster or need. And they are always looking for people to support them, either financially, by their funds, or by their service. So let me read the proclamation. It says, American Red Cross Month 2025. Whereas this March we celebrate the American Red Cross Month by recognizing the compassionate acts of people in Niceville and by renewing our commitment to lend a helping hand to our neighbors in need. Since Carla Barton founded the American Red Cross more than 140 years ago, generation after generation has stepped up to deliver relief and care across our country and around the world, bringing out the best of humanity in times of crisis. Advancing this noble mission, the volunteers, the blood, the platelet donors, and supporters who now give back through the Northwest Florida Red Cross chapter remain unwavering in their commitment to prevent and alienate human sufferings alleviate human sufferings in the face of today's emergencies. And whereas their voluntary and generous contributions shine a beacon of hope in people's darkest hours, whether it's delivering food, shelter, and comfort during disasters, providing critical blood donations for hospital patients, supporting service members, veterans, and their families, saving lives with first aid, CPR, AED, and other skills, or delivering international aid and recognizing and reconnecting loved ones separated by global crises. And whereas this work to uplift our community is truly made possible by those who selflessly answer the call to help whenever and wherever it is needed. We hereby recognize this month of March in honor of their remarkable service, and we ask everyone to join in their commitment to care for one another. Now, therefore, I, on behalf of Mayor Daniel Hinkle, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim March 2025 as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of the city of Niceville to reach out and support this humanitarian mission. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank everybody.
All right, we got through 2 proclamations, and now it's time for a word presentation to our outgoing council members, Councilmembers Sal Najimian and Councilmember Carl Donahue, in recognition of their service to the city of Niceville. I would like to ask them to come down individually. First, Councilman Carl Donahue. Okay. For those of you who don't know this, I know Carl probably for 20 years or more, and his lovely wife Jocelyn. Carl is a true citizen servant. He has had a successful career in the United States Air Force. He has also served as my representative on the Niceville Planning Commission, 10, 15 years ago, for quite a few years. Carl was first elected to the Niceville City Council position in August of 2020. And we are grateful for your dedication and your commitment to making Niceville a better place to live, work, and play. Carl, we're going to be sorry to see you leaving us, but we wish you and Jocelyn and the rest of the family all the best. And please accept this desk clock, and it even is set on the right time. So please accept this as a token of our appreciation, and we wish you well. All right, Councilman Najimian, it's your turn.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
Yeah.
Carl,
Yeah.
can't just walk away.
Leave that here, I want to look at it.
Yes,
The mayor pro-
your microphone.
I'm loud enough. Let me see here. The mayor pro tem, council, city manager, city clerk, department heads, employees, but more importantly, the residents of Niceville. Thank you. The pleasure has all been mine. It's time for me to turn the page and start the next chapter of my life. So maybe y'all will see me in Broadway. In my future endeavors, I plan on becoming a playwright. And what I'm going to do is take one of my wife's books. She's written 4 books. I'm going to turn it into a small play. I don't have any training in it, but I'm going to dive into it. Thanks.
Okay, Councilman Najimian, your turn. Thank you.
That looks like Carlson.
That looks like Carl. Well, it does, except your name.
Yeah.
Okay. I have known Sal for quite a long time, not quite as long as Carl. Sal is another example of a true citizen servant. He has also had a successful career in the United States Air Force, retiring in 2012 from Eglin Air Force Base, and his final assignment was a 96 Wing Base Commander.
Air Base Wing Commander.
Air Base Wing Commander.
That job.
When I retired, they didn't have all these words. They had just Base Commander and Wing Commander. Anyhow, so thank you for that service. I can clearly remember when Sal and his wife Carla and their two sons came to a city council meeting, and Mayor Wise was presiding, and he asked and he came in uniform, but I suspect he came right from the base, and your family met you here. And he introduced himself, and little did he know, probably did not know at that time, that he was going to be sitting up here with the rest of us, helping out and becoming a citizen servant to the city of Niceville. So, Sal, under your guidance and mentoring, Niceville established the first Niceville Youth Council program, and it's still flourishing today. He just gave you the update on it from tonight. Sal is also vice president of his engineering firm, Matrix. I have that correct? Or CEO? CEO, okay, of his engineering firm, Matrix. And he has brought a lot of his engineering experience back to the city of Niceville as his council position. So we are grateful for your dedication and commitment to making Niceville a better place to live, to work, and to raise a family. And please accept this desk clock as a small token of our appreciation for your service to Niceville City Council. So let's go on the front.
Okay. All right, you got it.
Thanks, Howard. Would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Thank you. I'll put it back here. Do you want to look at mine too, Doug?
It's lovely.
Yeah.
It's an hour ahead, man. You're going to be in Eastern time.
That's right, that's right. Bill, thanks for that, my fellow council members, Dave, Kristen, everybody else. Exactly like my soon-to-be departed council brother here as well, I want to thank the entire staff and those that have served with me up here. This was never in the cards, as I think Bill alluded to. We were fortunate enough to be brought here by the Air Force back in 2010. And like a lot of folks that are lucky enough to draw Eglin or Hobart or another assignment here, we elect to stay because there's something special about the area. So we decided to hang it up here and stay. And again, even at that point, I did not intend on occupying the dais for 12.5 years. There was an individual who was coming off at the time, so it was an out-of-cycle election. I was searching for purpose because after serving 24 years in the military, making money for a consulting firm didn't fill the soul the same way as giving back to community did. And so this seat opened up, and I was fortunate enough to apply for it in a special election, and then I won the seat. And I've had it now for the better part of the last 12 or 13 years. That's a long time to do anything. And I think it's appropriate to move aside, let others get a chance to be up there, share their ideas, share their thoughts. It's been a great ride. I don't know what I'm going to do with the second Tuesday of every month now. It's literally been the cadence that I've lived under for those 12 years. And there are sometimes I look at agenda and I'd say it's going to be a long night. There's other times I look at agenda and I go, there's going to be some fun things to talk about. It didn't matter what the agenda said. I was happy to be here. I was proud to be here. And what mattered most is when you guys were here. Because when we had a participative form of government, that's when I knew it was working. When people came out to express their thoughts and their opinions in a manner that was civil, so we could have civil discourse. We didn't have to agree on everything, but we could at least discuss it, debate it, and ultimately make a decision. And sometimes the decisions went a particular way, sometimes they went another way. But we left here knowing that we did our best to come to common ground and come to what the city needed. And I look forward to seeing that continue with the two gentlemen that'll be occupying my space and Carl's space over the next several years. And again, I thank everyone for the opportunity to serve. Thanks.
I didn't know as a mayor about the dual task. Okay, I think we're ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on with the agenda. And Mr. Dykes, it's back to you.
All right, sir, we will move on to agenda item E1, if you will, please.
Ordinance number 25XX-XX, request approval to transmit the proposed amendment to the comprehensive plan to the appropriate state and federal agencies for review. An ordinance of the City of Niceville, Florida, providing for amendments to chapters 13, 15, 16, and 17 of the comprehensive plan, deleting chapters 15 through 17 pertaining to levels of service, plan consistency, and public school facilities, substantively amend chapter 13 pertaining to intergovernmental coordination and providing for enforcement, severability, conflict, and complications, and providing for an effective date.
I'm looking for a motion to approve or deny.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't hear. Was that you on this?
I moved, but
Motion and second.
Okay, it was moved by Councilman Najimian and second by Councilwoman Alley. And for those of you who were not here last month, this is a continuation of the process that we're going into revising our comprehensive plan. And we'll have a series of these presented over the next couple months until we finally have the comprehensive plan updated to where we want it to be, and then it will get an official ordinance number. So is there anyone in the audience who'd like to come forward and discuss this? Any discussion by the council? Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to call for a vote. I'll start with Councilman Najimian.
yes.
Councilwoman Alley.
Yes.
Councilman Schatzels, yes. Councilman Donahue.
Yes.
And Councilman Stauffer.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Deitz, next item, please.
Okay, next is a public hearing. Second and final reading of title and public hearing. Budget Amendment Water Meter Replacement Ordinance 25-03-1. Second and final reading, an ordinance adopting the amended final budget changes for the City of Niceville for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2024. An ordinance adopting and approving the appropriations set forth in said budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2024, and providing for an effective date.
I have a motion to approve or deny.
Approve. Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion from anyone in the audience? Any discussion by the council? Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to start with Mr. Stauffer,
Yes.
Mr. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes, Ms. Alley,
Yes.
and Mr. Najimian.
Yes.
Mr. Deitz.
All right, thank you, sir, and council, good evening. I just got a few things before I turn it over to the inmates. So number one, for the community, voting will occur here tomorrow, just on the other side of this wall, on the tile side of the council chambers, beginning at 7 a.m., runs through 7 p.m. While we do not have any city council candidates on the ballot for election, there are 2 charter amendments up for a vote. And I encourage everyone to come out and exercise your constitutional right to vote. And respectfully request that you come out and vote yes on both amendments. The first amendment is about the residency requirement for the city clerk's position. The city clerk's position is a purely administrative position. The city clerk position does not have any decision-making, policy-making, or financial authority. The city clerk position is strictly the holder of the city seal, maintains all of our legal documents, responds to public records requests, and obviously takes notes at public meetings. And so there is no reason why the city clerk would need to reside within city limits. And in fact, having such a requirement on any city employee other than the city council members, the mayor, and myself, is a financial burden because of the cost of living here in town. And again, there is no operational need for anybody other than myself and the city council to live within city limits. I would also note that less than 30% of city employees currently reside within the city of Niceville. And so again, there's no reason, operational reason, functional reason why the city clerk should be required. And so I'm respectfully requesting the city come out and vote yes on that proposed amendment. The second amendment is with regards to granting the mayor the authority to vote in the event of a tie when there's a vacancy on the city council. Right now, the mayor does not have any voting authority on any issue ever per the charter. This would be the one exception in lieu of flipping a coin, rolling dice, or things of that nature. I would suggest to the residents of Niceville that granting the mayor the authority to vote in this scenario is far more democratic because the mayor is elected. The coin, the dice, and the card are not. And so I encourage everybody to come out and again exercise your constitutional rights to vote tomorrow between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. here at the City Council chambers. Number two, our school zone speed cameras have been activated were active for the last few weeks, and warning citations have been mailed out. During the week of March 3rd, which was last week, we had 611 violators, or an average of 122 violators per day. We only have two camera systems. One is on Parton and one is on Palm. The average rate of speed over the speed limit was 14 miles an hour over the speed limit on Palm and 15 miles over the speed limit on Parton. The highest clock speeder was 25 miles an hour over the posted speed limit in both school zones. So please, 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 please slow down in the school zones, because again, last week we had 611 violators, which again is 122 violators per day. Number three, we've seen an increase in unscrupulous plumbing organizations taking advantage of residents in Niceville. If you have a plumbing problem which does not include a leaky faucet or a leaky toilet, I encourage you to please, 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 please contact the Public Works Department before you call a plumber, so that they can come out there and check your house, so you're not spending hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars unnecessarily. The Public Works Department is a great team, and we'll gladly come out and check that for you. So please call the City of Niceville before you call the plumber. And then finally, our contractor for the water meter project will be coming around beginning here in probably the next week or two or three to start our water meter change out across the city, and they will be in town for the next several months changing out water meters, AMI systems. They'll start in May. Okay, they're going to start in May. And then, but during this time when they will be coming out and changing out a lot of water meters, so you may, residents may have a temporary interruption of water services while they change the water meter on your house, but it will be very temporary. And again, that will start in May. And I think that is all I have, Council. So moving on, Chief Hayes, please.
Before we move on, could I ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you please give all of us an update on the reclaimed water system?
Yes, ma'am. Our contractor is in the final stages of the clean out of the pond, the pipe, and making the repairs to the system. And I think the system will be up and operational by the end of March, early April.
Good evening, Pro Tem Mayor, City Manager, Councilman, thank you for having me. Following are the statistics for February 2025 for the Police Department. The Niceville Police Department responded to 2,103 calls for police assistance, including 32 crash reports involving 62 vehicles and 1 pedestrian. Estimated damage was $174,310. Our officers issued 159 citations, and in addition to 220 warnings were given. Generous, I think, as far as the warnings go. Just to reiterate what the city manager said about the school zone cameras, the statistics and numbers are too high. And I just encourage everybody to slow down, please. That's all I have for statistics. We had 16 misdemeanor arrests, 8 felony arrests, and 1 DUI. And we have a few events coming up. We have Coffee with a Cop, where you can meet the new deputy chief, Brandon Chapin. I'll be there. We'll speak about any issues that you'd like to speak about. And that is on March 26th at 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Black Rifle Coffee. That's all I have.
Any questions from council?
I do. The 611 that were violators, is that any speed over the speed limit, or is it that threshold of 11?
Threshold.
Threshold 11, 611,
Correct.
over 11?
611 people were going 11 miles or more over the speed limit in our 2 school zones.
Good reason why we needed them.
Yeah. It's eye-opening.
Any further questions? Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
All right, Chief Funches, please.
Thank you, City Council. Thank you, City Manager, Deputy City Manager. My name is Scott Funches. I'm the Division Chief, Niceville Fire. Niceville Fire responded to 145 calls in January. 5 of those included overdoses and poisonings. We had 33 fire inspections done that month. 28 passed, 5 failed. We've been working on accreditation with the fire department. We've been sending out surveys to our crews to get some feedback. And we're doing our risk analysis, which has been given to the battalion chiefs to get some feedback. So that's going pretty good. We have CPR classes we conducted for the police department and for Okaloosa Gas. They all went well and got those completed. We had a lot of crew members go down to the Orlando Fire Conference and attend it. Came back with a lot of positive feedback, a lot of good training. Some of the events that we attended was the 3rd annual Planet Bonfire, the Tigers Tea held at Edge Elementary. We welcomed the Moms Company to the station for a presentation and tour. And we also attended the Mathnasium community event opening. All crews are actively working on certification and continuing their education.
Any questions from council? Hearing and seeing none, thank you very much.
All right, Graham Puval Laird.
Glad you're back.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, Council, Mike, congratulations. Mr. Jimmy and Mr. Donahue, we're gonna miss you. Congratulations on the 2 new incomers coming in too, so looking forward to it. Lift station 30 generator is set. Hopefully be able to cover for it this week. If everything goes as planned on the startup, hopefully we'll be back in operation, hopefully this week or next week. So, hopefully the startup will go as planned, and we'll be on a new generator, lift station 30, our main lift station. Our main lift station down at the Public Works office. The upgrade for lift station number 20 on College Boulevard for the new college apartments is complete. Once again, I'd like to give kudos to our water and sewer department for laying 60 foot of sewer line that goes into the manhole to the wet well, which we originally got a bid of $30,000 on. They did in-house in about 6 hours last week, saved the city $25,000. So kudos to them, they're in the back, Ernie, J.W. Cole, thank you. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be replacing the generator at lift station 55. The materials are here for the Reeves pipeline. Gator Boring is in town. They are boring. They're on their first of 3 bores. Talked to them this afternoon. Should be done with that bore. The first bore this week, they'll have 2 left. Then the county can move in and start installing the pipeline. The reuse pond, as Mr. Dice was saying, is clean. We took the intake screen off, but we gotta weld some fabricated, put it back on. We gotta put some, peroxide around the whole perimeter of the pond, kill any infections that gets in the pond. Fill it back up. We'll potassium pentamate it for the rhizoan. Then we'll go out in the field, do a unidirectional flushing, and put it back online. So hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks, you can have the water back. And Mr. Dice was saying also, spoke with Badger right before I come here tonight. We got supply materials started coming in last week, this week, and next week. Once we get all the materials here, we'll have a kickoff meeting hopefully around May 1st. Greg, the president of Badger, told me before we come here tonight, hopefully May 1st we can start that program, eliminate a lot of this work that my staff is having to do and wasting time. So we're moving in the right direction on that. We do have well number 2 is down at the yard. We're waiting on Briner Drilling to start pulling the well and seeing what the problem is on that. But we're still got plenty of water. That should be happening hopefully within the next week or so. We had 35 water calls, 17 sewer calls, made 7 water taps, had 14 sewer taps, 623 line spots, changed out 11 meters, and have completed 516 service orders. The stormwater repair on Magnolia Shores is complete. We finally got pricing on the drainage issues on Rhonda Drive, Pine Avedra, and Pine Court. We're waiting on another round of pricing, and hopefully Wednesday to come in and be piggyback pricing. We're working with Okaloosa County on one of their contractors to give us some piggyback pricing on them 3 jobs, just to make sure where we're at with the money. Thanks to Ms. Shell, we have addressed the drainage issue at 1408 Bayshore Drive. We will be tasking Barge Engineering to help us with that project. We are in the process of moving the drainage pipe on Palm Boulevard for the new multi-use trail. This work has begun last week and hopefully be completed at the end of this week or first of next week. When they come through with the trail, we have some pipe to shift over. It was in the way of the trail. We're doing that in-house. Bailey Drive sidewalk should be starting in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We're just waiting on the relocation of utilities from FPL and Cox Cable. And the crews will start laying, we're gonna do that sidewalk in-house, save us a bunch of money there also. Hill Lane Road extension, the plan were finalized, ran into kind of a roadblock with some homeowners and property lines, but we're gonna hash that out tomorrow. Me and Kristen and a couple engineers, about 2:45, come to an agreement. We're gonna shift the road over, get some more property from a property owner who is willing to work with the city. So hopefully the next couple of weeks, I get with James, we'll have this out for bid, and we can get that road extended. It's gonna be a lot better for all the residents in Niceville. The multi-use path on Palm has started. The plan is they started at Bayshore, working back north toward 27th Street. They stopped right before they got to the first house. They've got the subgrade cut, they got road base in, they should be paving it next week. They're gonna pave that stretch. They'll stop, turn around, do all the driveways to make them ADA accessible when the trail meets the driveways, and then we'll pick back up on pavement. Door hangers were hung, so residents know what's coming. This will go all the way to 27th Street. And my good friend here, Ms. Shell, if you don't know yet, we'll be going hopefully soon north on Palm, because she got us a $1.5 million grant. Let me get a round of applause for her. 1.5 million, we're ready to go. We working with Okaloosa County, had a meeting 2 weeks ago, Miracle League baseball field. We're at 90% completion on the set of plans. So we're moving forward on that. Really gonna be a great project, Ms. Alley. Hopefully next month they'll be bringing it to the planning commission. So that's really moving forward. It's gonna be a really nice asset here to the city and residents and disabled kids. So it'll be a great project. We're looking forward to it. Spoke with Carissa Lejeune last week. I know I told y'all before that the multi-use trail for College Boulevard from Palm to Forest and Forest to Rocky Bayou Drive was supposed to start in March. They had some monument difficulties down on Forest Road. had to deal with some homeowners and kind of set them back a while. But I talked to her last week, it is getting out for bid this month, awarded in April, and the trail hopefully will start May 1st. So that's the walk trail that the county is doing on College Boulevard to Forest. The new mini storage is complete, we're just waiting on the roll-up doors. When we order them, they're 4 to 6 weeks out, we should be getting them within 2 weeks. So once we get them doors installed, we'll have 10 new units up here and eliminate pricing that we're paying on other storage units and save the city money there. The maintenance of the children's park is complete. We did a bunch of painting on the gazebos, painted the inside of the wall, did a lot of cleanup in there this last week. The only thing they're gonna have left, if we don't have to close the park for it, we're gonna paint the outside of the wall all the way around the perimeter. The roof at the senior center should be done next week. That's going along really good. They're working really hard, fast. We did get that contracted out, so that should be finished up next week. And we'll be getting pricing on the roof from the tile side to the carpet side here. That'll be next. She's supposed to come over Wednesday and give us some quotes on that. She's not here tonight. I haven't seen her, but I got an email last week from Lisa Mitchner, who is a historian of Niceville. I noticed some mistakes on the walkable Niceville sign. One at Davis Drive and one at Evans Street. It said water statue instead of worker statue. So, talked to Greg, Mr. Dykes called me, we talked to Greg Pope last Thursday, he's gonna make it all right, he's gonna jump on it, he'll get it fixed, no charge to the city, so just wanted to bring that up. It was misspelled, thanks to Ms. Mitchner for catching it, I didn't catch it. So,
We went over that so
yeah.
many times.
But there's only 2 places, so we are gonna be getting that fixed, or Greg is gonna be getting that fixed. You know, I can't say enough about this next group. They do so much for the city. One council meeting, I'd like to bring them up here. But once again, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will be here on March 26th, doing community service work. My crew's already power washed all the decking around the senior center, so they'll be coming in and painting it. They're gonna be painting all the decking around the senior center on March 26th, and then April 30th, they're gonna go out and spread new mulch at Rocky One-Way Common Park. But can't say enough about that church group. They're always willing to help the city. I know they've been in contact this week with Mr. Dykes, and I just want to thank them. This week, Emerald Coast Striping will be in town. They're going to be restriping the school zone signs and on Farm Boulevard, and then they're moving over to the Crossings Boulevard from Chick-fil-A to Third Planet, restriping the roundabouts at Spade, and you can't hardly see. They'll be working at night there, so. I don't know if Shanitra's here or not. Thanks to Shanitra, our PIO, our second annual Big Truck Day will be Saturday, April 5th, 2025, from 10 to 1, with the first hour being sensory hour, no horn blowing for special needs kids. So thanks to Shanitra for setting that up once again for us. Code compliance update, there are 32 cases in the month of February, 20 closed, 8 were open, and 4 courtesy. So, with that, with them coming in, we get the city looking better and we're moving forward. Turkey Creek hours now are from 6 to 7. Since daylight savings time, we swapped that yesterday. And the last one, my employee spotlight. So, even though she's not an employee with the city of Niceville, she still is a team member in my eyes to the city of Niceville. And that's Ms. Sheila Dunn. Ms. Sheila Dunn worked for the University of Florida, Othusa County Agricultural Center, and lost her life 2 weeks ago, unexpectedly. She was a wonderful asset to this city, worked countless hours on making our team members up to date on license, CEUs, pesticides, you name it, she did it, she was always there. You know, you could call her, email her, hey, I got a disease tree, can you come look at it? She'd come every year, look at all our green belts, just to make sure the city was not liable on any dead trees. She was just a big asset to this city for over 30 years, and that's my employee spotlight, my shine pin, Ms. Sheila Dunn. God bless her and her family in this hard time. And on behalf of Public Works, just want to say we thank you.
about the garbage cans on, is that Parton in College?
Yes, sir.
You did,
Or Palmer College?
right.
Yeah.
So, sir, we're working that issue. But it's a work in progress.
Okay, that's the county.
No, sir, it's not. Well, I've been working with the county. We realized it was our jurisdiction. So I'm working with the management company now to try and get that resolved.
All right, thanks.
And this may not be you, it may be you, but Valparaiso Valparaiso Boulevard.
So, yes, sir, we're working on it, with the county on that. They sent us a proposed interlocal agreement, was it Friday or Monday? Last Thursday. And as I was looking it over, the interlocal agreement has us paying 50% of the construction cost, which was around $415,000. And so, we exchanged a number of emails today, back and forth, about that was not the agreement that was entered into many, many moons ago. And so, still yet unresolved, but we're making headway on that, and I anticipate we'll have that worked out by the end of the week.
Jonathan, one comment, two questions. The comment, I also saw the letter of appreciation that your team got, so congratulations again for just living up to the highest standards. And thanks for everything that you and your team are doing. It's remarkable. The trail, I know it's a Okaloosa County project,
Yes, sir.
but it's going to replicate the one on Okaloosa Island, right? It's in that same photoluminescence,
10-foot.
right?
I don't know about the long
Yes,
one.
I think it's just asphalt, sir.
Oh, it's not photo.
No, sir,
I
I think
don't
it's
think
just
so.
asphalt.
Just 10-foot asphalt.
Is there a reason that we couldn't ask for that, or we didn't want that? I mean, have you seen the
I
one?
don't think it's too late. Unless,
Yeah, it's too late.
might be, but
Okay.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, I was talking to Jason Alter, and he thought that's what we were getting as well, so that's not what we're getting.
Okay, that was it never came up in conversations, sir, so I don't know, maybe we are, maybe we're not, but it never came up in any conversations I had with Jason.
Okay.
If it is, woo!
Yeah, I mean, they've got some rave reviews on that.
Yeah.
And
It looks great.
it's amazing, and being able to ride that at night because of the photoluminescence that comes off of it is just, it's a game changer.
It looks great.
Because it's dark.
And it's really nice when you drive on it too, it's really simple.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay,
I
so,
can check with him if you like me to.
I'm just curious, maybe I misunderstood.
I thought it was asphalt, sir.
Okay. And then you mentioned the pond being cleaned and getting ready, and Kristen, thanks for your note clarifying exactly what was done. If you mentioned, I missed it, what's going on with the extension out towards DMC in the eastern part of the city?
That's the Gator Borns here now.
Okay,
They're doing all the boards, they're only the first of 3 boards. And once they get that done, the county will move in and lay them.
those are the under street bores that they have to do along the way? Okay, all right, so those are,
2 creeks and 1 in the 285.
right,
And then, but they're here now. They're
okay,
already
so
started.
that's ongoing.
Yes.
Gotcha, okay, thank you. Thanks.
Made me tired listening to him.
Jonathan, thank you, and thanks to you and your team for doing a great job.
Thank you. They do a great job.
All right, Mr. Dykes, let's move along with the agenda.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the city council items. Did you guys have anything? McClellan Variance Resolution 250301. The applicant is requesting a variance to Appendix D, Section 7.08.01B4 of the City of Niceville's Land Development Code. The applicant is requesting a reduction of the front setback from 25 feet to 4 feet and reduction of the east side setback from 7.5 feet to 2 feet to construct a carport over the existing driveway. The subject property is located at 1107 Coral Drive and can be identified as parcel ID number 17-1S-2002-4001-0001-0040. The proposed resolution site is approximately .18, give or take, acres in size.
I hear a motion to approve or deny?
I'd like to hear from the audience if there is anyone. Can we do that?
Well, you gotta
Or
go.
you have to make a
There's a
motion?
motion first.
You can motion, it doesn't mean you're gonna vote for it. I motion to approve.
Okay. Second.
Have a motion from Mr. Najimian and Mr. Stoffers to second. I'll make the motion to second then.
I second.
You did?
I did.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you acknowledge it, my question. Okay, is there someone in the audience that would like to speak to this variance request? Okay, hearing or seeing no one, then are there any questions from the council?
Just a comment, our planning staff, our planning commission voted to deny this on a 5-2 vote, saying that the burden of hardship was not proven for the request.
Family Senior Planner. So yes, the planning commission did deny the request. They didn't want to make it, actually, they asked the question if the neighbor actually had a variance granted because the neighbor had a carport added, and yes, I did some research. There was a variance granted for him to have reduced setbacks in order to have his carport erected, but the planning commission voted to deny the request.
When was that variance granted, do you know,
Yes.
the neighbors?
It was granted in 2008.
Do you know what the variance was? I mean,
Yes, the front setback was reduced from 25 to 3.9, and the side setback reduced from 7.5 to 2.5. But looking at the aerial map, there doesn't appear to be any other carports in the general vicinity, and we haven't granted any or had any building applications for those either. So it's just this particular address and his adjacent neighbor.
Yeah, and you can certainly understand why the individual came forward. If the neighbor has one, probably thought that was the procedure, but we can't speak for the 2008 council. None of us were here, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's a single one of us that was here at the time. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Did you get any letters from the neighbors not wanting this?
There were no public comment on this particular agenda item.
I'm a little surprised that the McClellans aren't here. Do they know about the meeting? Were they notified? I'm sure they were, but need to ask a question.
Yes, sir, they were notified of the planning commission meeting and also
Were they at the planning commission meeting?
they were.
And that, maybe because that was turned down, they assumed the inevitable? Okay.
Potentially inevitable. Yes, we have to do it.
Any further discussion from the council? So I do have a question for you, Lisa. Their neighbor setback was not as much as what this gentleman
No,
is.
It was more.
It was every bit of it.
I'm sorry, his setback was more, it wasn't encroaching into our setback zone as much as what the neighbor did. He is encroaching more into setback zone.
Correct. So the McClellans are asking for a 4-foot front setback and a 2-foot side setback. So it's less in the front but more on the side.
Thank you.
So just, you might want to stay there because it's difficult to look at somebody else that's a neighbor that got this, even though it's 2008, and then, what do we do? And then the planning commission, but then again, there was some, you didn't know what happened in 2008 at the time.
Correct.
And you don't have letters from neighbors that are against it?
No, sir. And we did the mailing 300 feet from the subject parcel, so.
What would be the negative in voting this through as the city council, knowing that the neighbor got it in fairness, yes, it was 2008, it was a different city council. What would be the negative and what would be the positive? Is there a positive?
The negative would be that you're setting a precedent, that you probably would see more of this come before you for a vote. The positive is he's allowed to utilize more of his property.
Yeah, we have setbacks for reasons. I mean, that's set for architectural standards, for safety standards, for other things like that, site distances, you name it. There's all kinds of reasons we do that. And this is if I was talking to my kids, I would say, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Just because we approved it, somebody approved it 17 years ago, certainly doesn't mean we need to do that again. So,
I agree. I'd like to be fair.
I understand why the individuals, why the family brought it forward. I absolutely do. And I read the package, they're new owners, they've only been there 3 months, they probably didn't even know what the setback rules were, and that's unfortunate. But the reality is, that's what we've set as a community standard, and that's why it has the word variance. If we didn't mind people putting garages to 3 feet from the road, or the edge of their property, then, let's go. Build whatever you want to build, wherever you want to build it.
Yeah.
Just one question, Lisa. Have you or anybody in your department gone back to the gentleman and asked him to relook at his design that would not encroach into the setbacks as much?
So his house is already less than 25 feet from the front property line.
It's an older development. It doesn't even adhere to it's already basically a waiver zone.
Correct. So that he would have to have a variance either way, whether he reduced the size of the carport or not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further discussion from council? Anyone else in the audience? Okay, we're coming back for a vote. Mr. Stocker?
No.
Mr. Donahue?
No.
Mr. Shetzel's a no. Ms. Alley?
We're struggling with this. I'm gonna say no.
And Mr. Najimy?
No.
Thank you.
Next item is a Grand American lot split. This request is for a lot split approval. The property is located at 1011 Judith Avenue and is identified as parcel ID number 07-1S-2020-0002-0120. The subject site is currently .44, give or take, acres in size, and if approved, the newly created lots would be approximately .24 and .20 acres in size.
Okay, looking for a motion to approve or deny,
Push to approve.
and I'll second it. So we have a motion and a second. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to this request? No one's here from the Grand American Lot Company?
So far, it seemed like it was going good, so speak myself,
Never take that chance, my friend.
I hear you.
Mason, turn on down.
My name is Malcolm Spears. For those that don't know me, I'm the owner of Grand American. It's pretty much cut and dry what was proposed. I think the minimum acreage requirement in R1 is 7,500 each lot. The smaller lot, that's .2 acres, is 8712, and then the lot is .24, is actually 10,455. So I believe I meet the requirements. 2.5 years ago, approximately, is when I bought the property, and I had emailed Frankie, which I understand is retired from the city now, but I have an email in my possession I can share with you guys if need be, where I requested, and she said that her response simply was, let's see, I do know for Thomas and Judith, just split and record. So I was under the impression that the split would be approved at the time that I had the property under contract. Jonathan's here this evening, he can testify. I've tried every which way I possibly can to help the city. And for instance, on Thomas Street, there was a major drainage issue there a couple of years ago. Against my attorney's recommendations, I saw the problem with the drainage. I donated some land to the city so they could build a retention pond to address that flooding issue. I also paid about $75,000 more than what I wanted to for 911 47th Street, which, if y'all remember, was a property that was a serious drug house and a constant problem for the city and Oklahoma County. And we cleaned that mess up. Same thing with Madison and Crestview Trailer Park. We purchased that property with the intentions of building affordable housing there in the near future. Same thing on the corner of 26 and Reeve Street. There was a trailer there that a lot of meth heads and so forth congregated on that property. We bought it, got them removed off the property and so forth. And just here tonight in exchange, I just ask that you guys would consider approving this lot split.
Thanks.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So if this lot is approved for being split, would you have the entranceway to the lot, in other words, the driveways on Judith? Or would you?
So this particular property has two fronts, Cedar Avenue South, and then the other side is Judith. For the sake of safety, I believe that we should enter the property off of Judith and reduce cars coming and going off of Cedar Avenue South.
Thank you.
And the split, if I remember, sir, does not require any variances. You'll be able to meet all your setbacks regardless of what you put on the property.
Yes, sir, that's
So
correct.
you're not going to ask for
Yes.
anything.
We already have the floor plan. Yeah, we won't be looking for a reduction in front, rear, side, or anything like that.
All right, thanks.
Can I ask the planning commission what, no, I want to ask, go ahead.
Okay.
It was a split vote. I'm just wondering, what was the argument against it?
They did not discuss the reason why they live in negative, that I remember.
Can you speak up a little louder?
Yes, they did not discuss why they voted against.
Do you remember,
There
Doug?
was no discussion.
Doug Tolbert, 79 Willow Creek Run. There was some folks that were in attendance at the meeting that did not want the higher density and more traffic associated with the lot split. And so some of the representatives on the planning commission swayed heavily with the individual presence at the meeting, which was the primary driver. Of note on this, he has taken and splitting a lot and a half. It's actually not splitting one lot, he's splitting what was once platted as a lot and a half. And so it will not technically increase the density of the subdivision as platted. I'm sorry, it did pass on split vote.
Any further questions? None from the audience? Okay, I'll call for a vote. Mr. Nugent.
Yes.
Ms. Alley?
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes. Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
And Mr. Stoffer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Georgia Avenue Townhomes Development Order, approval by final order. This is a development order request to develop 14 platted townhomes across 2 parcels with shared parking and common areas. The subject property is located on Georgia Avenue and Bayshore Drive and is identified by parcel ID numbers 07-1S-22-0000-0098-0000 and 07-1S-22-0000-0126-0010. The proposed development site is 2.3, give or take, acres in size.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And anyone in the audience like to speak to this, Ms. Lisa?
I'm just here because I figured there would be questions. I came up because I assumed you would have questions.
Okay, so in back of you, we had 1 or 2 hands come up. Would the lady please come forward and state your name and address into the microphone, and then your question or discussion item?
Hi, my name is Christine Buchanan, and I live at 903 Bakeries Cove. I'm sorry, I'm a bit emotional. I grew up here. I went to school with Mr. Don Todd, Jason. They are planning to build in my backyard, and I have a problem with that. Niceville is known for its small town feel. I live next to my sister. On the other side, I went to high school with the other neighbor. Across the way, high school, and I graduated in 2000, so that was a long time ago. And I say that because we come back here, we stay here. The apartments they're planning to build, 14 townhomes, they are rentals. These are transient people, have no vested interest in our town, and I have a problem with that. I came back to this city to raise my family. We all see all the traffic on John Sims. Everyone is using Bayshore as a cut-through to not get stuck on John Sims. They are planning to build on Bayshore where we know there's heavy flooding, which just flooded last week, 2 days ago. It's not set up to have this much traffic, this many homes, and this many, who knows what people will be residing there. Like I said, my sister lives next door. My kids get to see their aunt all the time, and we moved back to Niceville for this reason. If people want to build apartments, we know there was land that was already made for that. Deer Moss Creek is huge. Maybe build where there's already going to be apartments set up, all of College Boulevard that they've been building, but not in this little spot in Niceville. The next thing on the agenda is Old Niceville, Old Town Niceville, which is, I don't know, he's a runner, half a mile away from where they're planning to build 14 new townhomes. So I don't understand how those two concepts can go together. I just wanted to state my piece because I'm very passionate about this. And I do apologize for getting very emotional. But I just want you guys to know that everyone is building everywhere, but this little spot in Niceville is not set up for multi-family homes. So,
Thank you.
that's what I have to say.
Is there someone else in the audience that would like to come forward?
Yes, I'm already here. My name is James Buchanan. I'm her husband. All right, also the same address. Okay.
Again, state your address.
Sure. 903 Bay Breeze Cove, James Buchanan. I was last week here at the planning meeting. All
So
right.
your property backs up to this?
Yes, sir. Yep. Just over our fence is Georgia Avenue, and all the driveways and parking spots will be right there. And so it's not the right project for our spot. Not the right project to look over our fence at a 2-story townhome, peering over into our yard at our pool with our kids running around in their bathing suits. We don't know. Last week, the property manager is here. I'm sure she'll speak after this. She said that she's going to screen the tenants, which is what she should tell you, right? She's screening the tenants, and everything's going to be fine and dandy. Well, we don't know that. This is what she's going to say to get it approved. Same thing with the engineer is going to come up here, I'm sure, to answer some questions to get things approved. But this is our lives we're speaking about, okay? There's multiple locations he could select to build. Buy more property where there's more space and you don't have little kids running around building 2-story townhomes looking into our yard. It's not the right project for that spot. It's his land, I understand. He can do what he wants with his land, okay? You guys have to follow code and policies and that if he's meeting all the codes and requirements and checking all those boxes, which I'm not sure if that's already done. Great, but it's not the right project for that spot, okay? Right now we have beautiful, quaint vacation homes, 1-story vacation homes. Beautiful tenants coming in and out, long weekends, it's packed. No issues with that, but you have steady tenants coming in. Who knows what kind of spacing we have for vehicles, entries and exit, emergency vehicles. Not sure how they're going to manage that. We have beautiful oak trees right over our fence. I mean, this is what we've been used to since 2019, and we don't want that to change. So we're not saying that he shouldn't do what he wants with his land, but it's not the right project. 2-story townhomes should not be looking over into our fenced backyard. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address this? Ma'am, please come forward, state your name and also your address, and if you need to lower the microphone, please
Thank
do
you,
so.
sir. My name is Mary LaPointe. I live at 901 Bakeries Cove. My backyard is directly behind this property. As a matter of fact, the cars that are parked in that area now, when I go to take my dog out in the morning, I could shake hands with the person parked right against alongside my fence. I do have some questions and concerns. As my sister Day said, I know Mr. Donahue children as well. I went to school with them. My sister said that there's high traffic in there. The wharf generates a lot of traffic, and we love the business there. We love the community feeling that it has there. But with 28 townhomes, that's a minimum of 28 cars. That entranceway is not very large. I do have questions and concerns for the ability for emergency personnel to get in there. I know a few weeks ago, the different companies were working, whether it was the telephone lines or the cable lines. I know a resident on Georgia Avenue couldn't even have their mail delivered because the vehicles were blocking that very small entrance that was right there. I do know that Bayshore does flood and floodplains. Is this project meeting all the requirements set forth in the Flood Management Prevention and Control Ordinance? Has the State Environmental Department been out and have they presented their report to let you know that what their findings are? I do know, I was at the meeting last week, and I do know that 2 members voted to deny this motion. They were members, family members that lived on Boxer for many, many years. They had concerns for the creek that is by their property. They said it's already been pushed back once. They have concerns of what's going to happen if it has to be pushed back again. I understand it's their property. As long as I've lived there since 2022, there has been a sign behind my backyard. It says, coming soon, Marina Bay 3 and 4 bedroom bungalows and executive homes. No description of 14 townhomes that are going to be there. I understand they want to build, but again, 14 townhomes with 28 families and minimum of 28 cars, possibly 56 cars. It's an area too small to be built in. So,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to come forward?
Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Is that better? Mayor Pro Tem and Council, Daniel Payne, D. Payne and Associates, I'm the engineer of record for the project. Tonight, you have before you, it's you know, just to sum it up, I'm here representing my client, SRN Capital, veteran-owned business, local area. You know, the existing project is removing 4 single-family homes that are there that are used on a high turnover basis and add 14 townhomes. The general alignment of the homes that are there follow the existing path on there with more modern setbacks that we have going on. The proposed project, you know, it's under the density requirements. You know, there's no stormwater currently on site for those 4 single-family homes on there. There is stormwater that's added. You know, all the setbacks exceed, as well as not just meet on that end. The CRA client wanted to meet the, you know, the area. We have the yacht club across. The townhomes kind of ties in. We're also taking over ownership of Georgia Avenue, cleaning it up, adding some pedestrian improvements down to the Bayshore area, kind of tying that local area, you know, and make it more consistent with the CRA and, you know, larger property owner in the area, where we're trying to meet some of those goals and objectives. So I just wanted to, you know, basically explain the project, and then as well as total units wise is 14. It's not 28 or anything like that. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Payne from the council? I do have a question. There's quite a few old oak trees in that area of Georgia Avenue. If this project was through, will all those trees need to be removed?
No, so not all the trees would be removed. Obviously, the screening and the buffer that we have on the north side, we'd like to keep. If it's not in the road or the building footprint, there's no need for us to take down. There is utilities and stuff that obviously would have to go in as well, but as far as the north side of the property, we would not remove those if they were not in the asphalt or curb parking footprint on that side.
The second question I have is, it sounded to me like you'd be removing the little cottages that are in there, and this is where the townhomes would be lined up, going in almost on an L shape, 10 on one area and the other 4 on the other area?
Yes, sir.
So the little cottages would be removed?
Yes, sir.
I actually have questions for our staff, so if you have questions for Mr. Payne, go ahead.
No.
No, okay. All right, can I have, and Jonathan too, please. You both were signatories to a technical review committee meeting on January 29th with about, I'm estimating, 25 total comments between community development and public works. Have all those issues been addressed?
Planning's comments were addressed in this updated set of plans that were sent prior to planning commission meeting.
Okay, and the development's not going to require any variances, everything's within compliance within the MDR, it's MDR, right?
Correct.
MDR?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and what's our MDR maximum development? How many units per in MDR?
MDR is 12.
12 per,
15 in the comprehensive plan for medium density, and this zoning district is 12.
and what are we yielding here? 7? 8 per? 9?
12 per acre.
No,
No, it's got to be less than that. It's 14 units over 2.4 acres.
Yeah, I can't do that.
It's got to be 6, 7.
His buildable area is 1.53 acres because there's a conservation area.
Oh,
and
so
then
keeping
the
that
wetland.
conservation and wetland
Correct.
out.
So his allowable within that was 18.36.
And we did
for
14.
18, and he only did 14.
Okay, so it's below
Correct.
the table of allowances.
There's a portion of this property that's zone conservation near that creek area.
Okay.
So he is not using that in his density allocation.
Gotcha, okay. Jonathan, the comments from the technical review?
Yes, they're all met. We made them change the sewer, change the water, made them add a 20-foot driveway connection with Bay Shore Drive, everything's been met on Public Works this morning.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple questions. Is this a private road?
Yes.
So the city will not be maintaining it. So my other question is
Only thing
about,
we'll maintain on that development will be the water meters.
so my other question is then, getting fire equipment in there. Can it go in and come out without
Did
difficulty?
you get Tommy's comments on that?
Yeah, they reviewed it. Yeah, the fire department reviewed it and had no comments, and there was no issue with the road width.
Well, because it's a
turnaround.
private road, is it meeting the requirements for the weight limit for bringing a fire truck in on that road?
They're responsible for the maintenance of the road, so if they're, the fire truck is a very, that's not a repetitive use of the road facility, so, I mean, I don't think you'd have any issue with a fire truck damaging the road if it was on fire once in a great moon.
Okay. And the road going in, there's 20 feet wide?
We're gonna make it 20 foot.
Our code requires a 20-foot connection to the public road, and the applicant is giving platted dedicated access to the one house that also accesses off of Georgia Avenue, so she'll have that dedicated access within the plat.
Say that again? There's a house that's going to remain there?
There's a house that currently uses Georgia Avenue to access, and so.
So 102 Georgia Avenue?
Right, so one of our requirements was that they give her platted use of that Georgia Avenue connection, which right now, there's really no easement guarantee for that property.
And she has not filed any kind of complaint for this project coming in?
I'm not sure.
She's here.
Yeah. Here she is.
hold your question for a second. I have another individual in the audience. Matt, would you like to come forward and state your name and address?
Nicole Hurt, 102 Georgia Avenue. I do have some concerns and things that I'd like addressed while we're here. One being the road and the weight. Is it going to be able to maintain the weight of an RV that might regularly traffic? As well as the garbage trucks, are they garbage trucks going to come in, or are all 15 trash cans going to sit on Georgia Avenue, or on Bayshore Drive?
It's the current problem on Palm, right?
Yes, currently the garbage picks up on Bayshore Drive. So the question is, if we're gonna have 15 now plus recycling, are we gonna line them up on Bayshore, or is the garbage truck going to come in to Georgia Avenue, and can the road maintain the garbage truck regularly? And then one more question is, are the tenants going to be single family? Because my biggest concern about them not being single families is getting military folks in there and walking across to the work and then causing disruptions after they're drinking. Because we never had significant issues with the Airbnbs or VRBOs, whatever they are, where they would go across the street, but every now and then they get a little rowdy, but it wasn't anything too crazy. But if we're bringing in 14, I'm just concerned that if you have 2, 3 military folks per house. So those are the things that I just would like addressed while we're here. Thank you. Do y'all have any questions for me?
No, no. Thank you, Mr. Payne.
Yes, just speaking to the weight limit, as far as RV question, the fire truck and the garbage truck situation is probably the heaviest vehicle, but that pavement section would be, it's no different than a public street or anything else like that. It'd be the same pavement section with the same weight. Garbage-wise, on the curbside service for residential would be cans, and they would not just be lined on Bayshore. I think aesthetically, people wouldn't like to see that, so that would be on Georgia Avenue.
But has that been made that clearly that there's going to be in Georgia that the garbage truck's coming in to pick up? Has that already been assessed, or are you just making a statement that you think that that's what's going to happen?
Well, I don't think we talked in depth about the curbside deal, but as far, other than the city of Niceville will require pickup with the yard waste and stuff like that, where, they would like to pick up that location. But, it would be, the T-turnaround at the end is basically for, the big garbage truck on that side.
So you didn't answer the question about where these garbage cans are going to go. This is an issue, 14 garbage cans. Are they being picked up in the development, or are they going to have to be moved out to Bayshore Drive?
Within the development.
You think?
I think it has to. I mean, you get to the furthest point in the development, that means you're dragging your trash can 250 yards.
I understand, but I
So-
want a definitive answer about, the garbage pickup. What Waste Management's going to do about going, in there or not?
So the city's land development code does not have a requirement for garbage cans or disposal. So we can't review this project based on something that's not in the code. Unfortunately, Steve's not here, but I want to remind everybody that this is a quasi-judicial item. The applicant meets the requirements of the code. And so we really should try to focus our review on things that are germane to the code, and then expert testimony as we review this. And I'm sure if Steve was here, he would have reminded that, and I hate to have to do it, but this is a project that is fully entitled by our code, by the zoning density that is allowed there. And of course, you can certainly do as you please with that, but we are at risk because of our code allowances for this project.
Just a second, please. Mr. Payne, just coming back to Councilwoman Alley's question about the waste management garbage disposal cans. You're saying that they will be within the development and not out on Bay Shore. Is that correct?
Correct. It was designed with the turnaround at the end so that, a garbage truck could just turn around. That was the intent. There's no dumpster, it's listed there, that's all.
Thank you, thank you. There's a gentleman in the back then, would you come forward and state your name and address one more time, please?
James Buchanan. I just wanted to reiterate what the 2 out of the 5 members that turned this project down in the Planning Commission meeting, and so you can correct me if I'm wrong, the code that you mentioned that's currently being met, and I did not know this, but the code is in the process of being rewritten. Certain ordinances and certain zonings, you all would know the details of that. But they had mentioned that why should we approve something now in a code that in 2-3 years from now, if we were to look back at this project, we would not approve. And so I just wanted to make that point because the lady who just spoke said that everything is currently being met as far as coding and approvals. But this is our lives we're speaking about, quality of life, right? We already talked about that. Current residents should be taken into consideration on how a project like this is going to impact our lives based on codes that are currently being rewritten. Thank you.
Mr. Tolbert?
Ben Tolbert, 709 Mullet Creek Run. I can help address this a little bit. There's the land use code is being rewritten, but it's not the zoning plat that we're rewriting. It's the verbiage in it that you approved some of that tonight. You approved several chapters of the rewriting tonight. That's the part that's being rewritten. If you look at your land use and your future land use developments, you'll notice that the area across the street from this is red. That would mean it's commercial property. And the area that's a block and a half or 2 north of it is single-family residential. And the area that sits in this is medium-density residential. And that is purposeful in nature, that you try to screen your commercial from your R1 residential with using a medium-density residential in between there. I understand the owners that are here, and everybody's always concerned about what's behind them, and it's a valid concern, emotionally speaking, of what's behind me. But as Christian pointed out, this is a semi-judicial on this one, that he's not asking for a variance, not asking for a waiver. The reason it's in front of us is because it's a minor development. Okay? And so minor developments are required to come not just to the technical review committee and to the planning commission, but also to the city council for review and approval or denial. But that was the discussion we had at the meeting about, and those exact words of the buffer zone that this is fitting in between. Thanks.
I do have a question for you, Doug. So 2 mentioned that all this may change, which you stated we're not working on that part, but we have to follow the law. We're semi-judicial. We have to follow the law now or follow the land use and future land. We've got to do what's on the books now. Would you agree with that?
I would agree that's the intent. I mean, there are times when you're going to make it, the property owner is asking you to make it more restrictive in nature. That's usually pretty easy if they want to go more restrictive. If somebody comes and, but typically, if they want to make it less restrictive, if they wanted to turn this into commercial property, I would argue that you should probably, there's a current land use map, a current zoning map, and then there's a future land use map. They don't coincide with each other. They don't. There's some areas that they look at in the future, we'd like to see this transition of this property. It might have at one time been a R1 residential, the small 50-foot lot wide R1 residentials that we're looking at as what exists there currently, that maybe in the future it transitions into a medium density residential where they are putting, developments like Grand American spoke about earlier today, putting those types of developments in to get get a higher density, a more affordable cost of living, if that's what the economic surroundings of that area look like.
Okay, any other further questions from council?
I just, a comment, and I know once we go to vote, it gets hard to talk about it afterwards. In fact, we don't talk about it. But I made the comment during my words earlier, we're not always going to agree on these things, and I very much appreciate the Buchanans being out here and others who came out to speak. But at the end of the day, we have to follow the rules that are put in front of us, and the developer also has rights in this based on the land that he bought and the way it's zoned. So these are difficult decisions that have to be made, and again, I recognize we're not all going to agree.
Thank you. Seeing none, any further questions or statements from the audience? Seeing and hearing none, let's come back to the council for a vote. I'll start off with Mr. Nojimi.
Yes.
Ms. Alley.
I'm gonna vote no.
Mr. Schatzels, yes. Mr. Donahue.
No.
Mr. Stauffer.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. And coming back to Mr. Dietz, next item on the agenda, please.
Deer Moss Creek Sign Variance Resolution 25-03-02. This is a request to allow variance to the maximum subdivision sign size requirement for a sign located at the entrance to the Deer Moss Creek development. The requested variance is to allow for a 95.86 square foot subdivision sign which exceeds the code allowance of 64 square foot, section 16.10-00E. The property is located near the intersection of Deer Moss Loop and State Road 293, Spence Parkway, and is identified as parcel ID number 02-1S-22-0000-0002-0000.
I have a motion to approve or deny.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion by the council?
Bill, I need to abstain from this particular discussion due to the fact that they are a client of mine.
Understood.
I do have a question. Is there somebody here that can speak to the sign?
That's it.
I read this.
Excuse me, your name and your address, please.
Good evening, Matt Zinke with Jenkins Engineering, representing Butler Properties Inc. Address is 73 Avon Parkway, Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
This is just more for information for me.
Sure.
I know what the square footage of the sign is. Can you tell me what it is?
So it's about 11 foot wide by 9.5 foot high, the actual sign itself, and then when you add in the base, it's about 15 foot high. So it's a triangular shaped sign, just trying to get visibility as you're going down the Bidway Bridge Connector Road. And, when this code was written, I'm sure it wasn't, they weren't thinking about, 1,000-acre master plan community. And in this case, because that roadway has such a large right-of-way, the sign is much further from the road than we would typically see. So that's why we're requesting a little bit larger sign than the code allows.
Thank you.
Any further questions from the council? Anyone else in the audience? Hearing and seeing none, call for the vote. Mr. Stauffer.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue.
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes. Ms. Alley.
Yes.
And Mr. Nojimi, and you're abstaining.
Correct.
Okay. And let's go on to the next item.
Niceville Old Town Landing Phase 1 Development Order. This is a request to develop a dock, pier, and pavilion system across 2 parcels, including the establishment and approval of a special planning area pursuant to section 7.09.14 of the Land Development Code. The property is located south of Bayshore Drive between Edge Avenue and Armstrong Avenue and is identified by parcel ID numbers 07-1S-2520-0018-003C and 07-1S-22-2520-0018-0020. The proposed development is 0.8 plus or minus acres in size.
I have have a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions by the council? Any discussion from anyone in the audience? Yes, ma'am. Would you please come forward, Ms. Janet, and state your name and your address?
My name is Janet Osterman, and my address is 115 Edge Avenue. I understand that you already have approved the purchase of the submerged land to build, to start your pier. When do you plan on starting it? When is the groundbreaking of this?
And we don't have a definitive date yet.
This development order tonight, we'll probably get started in May or June with actual, by the time we get done with the construction bid. We'll have the construction manager notify surrounding property owners before we get started.
Okay, and you have the DEP guy there?
We have been fully permitted by DEP and the Army Corps.
Okay. And just one other question, will you have, with this, will you have monitoring of the air as the pilings drive down?
We're gonna, part of the bid package is to monitor the entire construction with surrounding structures. We'll be documenting the entire area before we get started. And checking that when the pile driving is complete.
And I'm sure we'll adhere to whatever laws are required. So if there's an air component,
Yeah,
I don't think there is, nothing comes to mind.
Well, there is because of when Spence removed his, the dirt in front. Okay, but you're dealing with clean dirt.
Right, it's the difference
Yes,
between,
that's the difference
exactly.
between that and
Yeah.
what was hanging.
If it's a brownfield redevelopment, then you have air
Yeah,
components.
you know what was hanging
Yeah.
in front of your,
Yes.
and that did have mites in it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, this is all underwater.
Right. Should
Okay.
require anything.
Okay, question answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Ms. Janet, any other questions from the audience? Any coming back to the council, ready for the vote? Mr. Stauffer, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes. Ms. Alley?
Yes.
And Mr. Najimian?
Yes.
All right, so down to H number 7, then we don't have a city attorney here, so how are we going to handle this?
Sir, all we need is a motion to approve the new planning commissioners.
With the one change.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at I. So, okay, so
We're on H7, sir.
yes, sir. So I need a motion to approve or deny H7.
Approve.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion by the council?
There's also, I think we want to make it as modified by the letter that we got from Ed.
Yes, council, there should be one modification to a non-voting member in lieu of James Hoff.
Cheryl Sawyer.
Cheryl Sawyer has been nominated by Eglin Air Force Base to replace James Hoff.
And motion and a second, still agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Any discussion, any further discussion by the council? Any further discussion on this issue by the audience? Hearing and seeing none, let's call for the vote. Mr. Najimian?
Yes.
Ms. Alley?
Yes.
Mr. Schatzels, yes. Mr. Donahue?
Yes.
And Mr. Stauffer?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Mr. Dice, it's over to you.
All right, council, so I just wanted to give you an update. The strategic plan, the proposed strategic plan for the city of Niceville is done. You have it there in front of you. So why did we do this? Well, as you know, 19 months ago when I came and I joined this team, we were starting the budget process, and I said, what's the strategic plan and how are we spending our money? And I quickly learned that we have no strategic plan. The city has never had a strategic plan. So we ventured off in collaboration with the Institute of Senior Professionals on this endeavor. Because if we don't know where we're going, we're not going to get there. And so the ISP for over a year has been working on this project for us, and it put together a really fantastic product, I believe, from the mission statement, vision statement, core values, principles, everything. The strategic plan is vital for a number of reasons. It's going to help us decide where our energy and resources go. It's also an accountability tool. It provides direction, goals, vision, and strategy from the council to me and my team. With the strategic plan, we'll be able to provide you monthly or quarterly or annually progress reports to show how we are moving forward to achieve the strategic plan. A strategic plan is also a prioritization tool to prioritize resources and achieve the goals of the community. We can reallocate money or manpower positions based on the importance of the goals within the strategic plan. And of course, we use this as a budgeting tool. And as we are entering the fiscal year 26 budgeting process this month, this will be vital to my team as they plan out their budgets for fiscal year 26 and beyond. It's also a communication tool. This tool is to communicate to the residents the vision of all of you and what they want to achieve, or what you want to achieve, what you want to achieve on their behalf. And it communicates to my team and I the why and what we're doing and what the focus is. So how was this plan developed? Like I said, it was a multi-step process in collaboration with ISP. Initially, like I said, more than a year ago, the council approved this effort to create a strategic plan. We contracted with ISP to work on this effort. ISP, over the course of a year, interviewed all of you, interviewed me and my teammates multiple times. We had group sessions with city employees. We sent out a survey to the community, got over 500 responses from the community. And with all this data that the ISP members collected, they were able to do their SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and came up with this mission, goals, values, and the strategic plan that you have in front of you. So what's next? I'm not asking for any decisions tonight, but I would ask that you please take this home, read over it, review it. If there's any corrections, amendments, or changes you would like to see, we need to do it now, and then in April, I will bring this back to you for approval, and then ultimately publication to our community.
Okay. Thank you for the update on the strategic plan. So ready to move on to the open forum. Okay, this is the opportunity for any citizen or any participant in the audience that would like to come forward and bring an issue or discuss something before us as City Council. If you do, I will limit you to 3 minutes. So I'll give you a warning when your 3 minutes are approaching. So is there any discussion from the council, from the audience that would like to come forward?
I have something really quick. I'll talk loud. I'm Jocelyn Donahue, 1150 Pinnock Circle. 2 things. Public Works, they do a fantastic job, and all these jobs that they're doing, surely they need some more help. I'm just saying. And then the other thing is our deputy here, oh my goodness, she's so impressive with all of these things that she's doing and she's knowledgeable about. I just want to say, job well done, City of Niceville. Job well done. All right.
Okay, hearing and seeing no others, I'll come back to the council. Does the council have anything to bring forward? Mr. Stoffel.
Just remember to vote tomorrow, and I think the city manager said he's going to vote yes on both.
Yes on both.
I'm yes on both. Basically, our city clerk here, who is the acting city clerk, I asked her some details. She's been 32 years with the city. Bought her house around, is it Crestview or just around Crestview? In the county. In 1999, so that's 26 years ago. And basically, you know, he needs to live here, we need to live here, the mayor needs to live here. City clerk doesn't need to live within the city limits. And you could live in Blue Water Bay and not qualify under the charter. So I just encourage all of you there, vote yes. less. And then the other one, you know, I want to be historic. I won by a coin flip, so I want to be the only one, so we need to change that one. So vote yes on both. And Doug Tolbert, who got the heads of the tails won, that was me. He also wants to see it changed too. So let's just update our city charter in both aspects. So that's my encouragement to you.
Is that a political campaign?
Nonpartisan.
Okay. Okay, anything else from the council? Mr. Dykes, I'm gonna turn it back to you for item I.
Okay. Well, before we do that, Councilman Jimmy and Council Donahoe, on behalf of my team and I, thank you for all your years of service. It's been great working with both of you. I'm gonna miss you both. I'm gonna miss you bounding into my office a couple times a week and with that big smile. So you will be missed, but thank you for your service to this great community. And with that, Chief Hayes, please, and then new Councilman Tolbert and new Councilman Rominger, if you would step up front, we're gonna, the chief will officiate the oath of office.
Does he have a
Nobody has a taser.
Okay.
That's one at a time, so there'll be photos.
Okay, we'll do this one at a time. Who's running away? I'm calling somebody. Come on up.
I'm coming up.
All right, sir. My honor to issue this oath to you.
Put them right those for photo purposes. Yeah.
Just make sure you get Kathy in the background zoomed in on her.
Sir, will you raise your right hand? I, Doug Tolbert,
I, Doug Colbert,
a citizen of the United States of Florida
a citizen of the United States of Florida
and the United States of America,
and the United States of America,
being elected to the city council for the city of Niceville, Florida,
being elected to the city council of the city of Niceville, Florida,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the laws of the state of Florida,
the laws of the state of Florida,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Niceville,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Niceville,
and that I am duly qualified to hold office
and that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state of Florida
under the constitutions of the state of Florida
and the charter of the city of Niceville,
and the charter of the city of Niceville,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties
of the office upon which I'm about to enter,
of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
so help me God.
So help me God. Going to the airport was a lot shorter oath than that. My goodness.
Oh, I want a photo, I'm good. I got a video for our daughter for proof.
Sir, raise your right hand. I, Heath Rominger,
I, Heath Rominger,
a citizen of the state of Florida
a citizen of the state of Florida
and the United States of America,
and the United States of America,
being elected to the city council for the city of Niceville, Florida,
being elected to the city council for the city of Niceville, Florida,
do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America,
the laws of the state of Florida,
the laws of the state of Florida,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Niceville,
and the charter and ordinances of the city of Niceville,
and I am duly qualified to hold office
I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state of Florida
under the Constitution of the state of Florida
and the charter of Niceville,
and the charter of Niceville,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of office
the duties of office
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon the office in which I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, to wrap up this meeting, any last,
Can I get a picture with them?
Yes,
John back on?
yes.
right now, up front? two of them, or their families also?
Should go for it, come on. Chief, you gonna join us? Come on, Chief, you swore us in, so.
All right.
Got my attention.
One more.
One more.
All right, coming back to the agenda, is there any further comments from the council? I do have one thing I'd like to congratulate both Councilman Tolbert, and you're effective the 1st of April, if I understand, and also Councilman Rominger, and congratulations to you two, and my special thanks to our two outgoing council people, Councilman Jimmy and Councilman Donahue, for the service they did. Greatly appreciate it. If there's nothing else, then I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
This meeting is adjourned.
You heard about that battle, didn't you?